welcome to Comfort Zone, a podcast all about pushing your hosts, outside of their comfort zone. I'm Christopher Lawley, and each week I am joined by two incredible co-hosts, and we are all back together this week for the proper episode 100!
Finally!
Yeah, we didn't hear that, Matt, at all.
What was it? Oh, okay.
You hear nothing?
Yeah,
Yes.
your soundboard always comes in really quiet, and I have to boost it in the edit.
Oh, okay. I can fix that. It's intentionally quiet, but the air horn should be intense.
Okay,
You'll fix it,
yeah.
you'll fix it. It's fine.
Boom, 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 boom. Anyways, technically, this isn't episode 100. That would have been last week, but we weren't all together, and I refuse to do episode 100 without us all being together. So, congratulations to all of us for getting to episode 100.
Yay! We've had a weird series of just duos because one of us was missing.
So I had to go and get a puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had to move. You know.
I know.
Anyways, but that's okay. We're all together. We've done 100 episodes of Comfort Zone, and we've done like 35, 36 episodes of Cozy Zone, something like that. So yeah, congratulations us.
Yeah.
We have a couple of tiny topics. First off, we in between recording the last episode and this episode, Niléane, it was your birthday. Happy birthday!
Oh, thank
and-
you.
And we've officially lost the youth. We don't
Why?
have the youth any. I
I'm
know how
young.
old you told. I know how old you told. You turned told. That was
Told.
weird.
That's the past tense
weird.
returned, yes.
Yes.
Anyways,
Yes, I am
yeah,
30 now. Yes.
Yep, no more youths. We're all in the ow, my
Listen,
back hurts stage.
Listen, eventually you'll be 40 and you'll be like, oh my God, I was so young when I was 30. So,
You know, the weird
enjoy.
thing is my first night here in the new place, in the new house, was on my birthday. So it's like, for your birthday, you get a
Ah.
house. Yeah. Even though
Yeah,
Man,
you're paying
what-
for
you guys
it.
haven't figured out.
Yes.
Yeah. Normally, I just get cake.
Yeah, Macron paid for it. Yes.
Um, oh, so
Shout
do
out
you
to
like him now?
Macron? No.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, if you
Screw
pay for the
him.
house, I mean, that would
Some
get
things never
81
change.
points.
Episode
No.
100.
Yeah.
There's also another tiny topic in our thing here, and I am shocked about it. I'm shocked. Shocked, I say.
So I listened. Yes, I listened to the episode last week when I was away. You recorded without me. Fine enough episode. That was fine
it was
enough.
a fantastic episode. It was a great episode.
And the challenge was that was Matt's challenge to experiment with browser, like mouse gestures in browsers, right? And Matt, you set it up in Vivaldi. Chris, you tried it with Better Touch tool, like I
You suggested.
advised. Yes.
Mhm.
And you both were turned off by it, and you were saying some weird, insane things by the end of the episode. I had to step in like today because you was like one of you said, "Oh, maybe it's for accessibility or something." That makes
I
no
think
sense.
that was me.
Yeah,
'Cause I was just trying to make sense of like what this
That
could be
makes
good
no-
for.
No, why would that be an
I
accessibility?
I
setting?
realized that after I said it, and I was like, that doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, no.
But I don't. I
You
was literally just grasping at straws to try and understand why anyone would use
And
these.
at some point, Matt, you said that they are weird to hard to trigger the gestures and hard to remember. This is both untrue because you can if you have a system like I have a system in Vivaldi.
Okay.
Okay, I do the mouse down to open a new tab, and that's like awesome. Like this is really useful. You're on a web page. You don't have to reach for the tiny plus button. You don't have to reach for your keyboard to do Command T. You just right click and bring the mouse down, and it opens a new tab, and you can go diagonally, and you don't have to be exactly vertical, and it works. It triggers fine. And I have a system in the square, so if I do like bottom then right, the bottom then right gesture that closes the current tab, top then right that reopens the last closed tab. So that's Command Shift T, the equivalent. And I have some very specific ones that I set up for the other two corners of the square. One mutes all the tabs. Sometimes I leave many YouTube videos open and I watch multiple ones at the same time. I need to mute them all at once. I do this. It's
Oh, the
really
mutes,
nice.
man.
Yeah. And the bottom right one is to trigger picture in picture. So yeah.
It just feels like, okay, down is makes sense. Down to the right is, but then like once you get to like 5, you're like painting the Mona Lisa, and it's like opening a new
You
tab.
don't need to make
And also, after you open a
million
new tab,
gestures.
what do you type? How do you type? You move your hand to the keyboard. Just move it first and do Command T. I don't
That's
get it.
that's not true. That's
Mhm.
not true. I use heavily the speed dial feature of Vivaldi, so the new tab page. I have
Okay.
many
Okay.
folders and thumbnails, and like my speed dial in my new tab page in Vivaldi is filled. So I do swipe down with the mouse and then click on something. I never have to reach back for my keyboard to reach
Okay.
one of my
Okay.
most used websites.
All I'm hearing is that Vivaldi has yet another setting that I didn't know about, and I'm just like, how much crap is built into this app? Like
Which
Everything.
feature?
That's the point of Vivaldi. It's
The
everything.
No, wait.
speed dials? Like what? Like
Speed
what
dial
do you
is
mean
just
speed dials?
it's just the name
I
of the new
literally-
tab page. You have the
That's the new
same thing in
tab page. That's
Safari.
the new tab page. Chris, you are you.
Oh,
Chris,
okay.
You
Okay.
you do this thing where it makes it hard for me to ally with you.
Yes.
This is happening again.
No, that makes sense. I was literally picturing like some kind of like wheel popping up, like it was
No,
like
no, no.
like just like
Oh, no, it's
and,
not like
like
the
it just
stupid
had a
wheel
bunch of
that this
websites.
Mouse does.
Yeah, kind of like the lot. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well,
Vivaldi has many things, like many built-in things, but it's a classic web browser, like very classic. All the classic features are there. So don't expect like weird things.
Okay.
Okay?
Hmm.
And the mouse
Okay.
gestures, they make sense.
Niléane has an answer for everything.
Yeah.
all right.
Undefeated.
We should probably just move on. We have some questions that were
There's
sent
actually
in.
one more tiny topic
Oh, I'm sorry.
that
Did I
was
skip
snuck
something?
in, and I have brought just because I often comment on what I've brought to drink. I have brought some traditional Southern iced tea, which is Liquid Death Strawberry Pop Tart
What
flavored
the?
iced
What
tea.
is this?
Oh,
And let me tell you,
there's
it's not bad.
I have not understood anything you just said. Liquid what?
Liquid Death,
Liquid Death, Pop
which started
Tarts.
as like a bubble water company, and now
Okay.
they've
they're
expanded.
the edgy bubble water company because
They-
liquid death.
So
Here's what I'll
sparkly
say.
water, right?
Their entire branding is based on giving people who are at parties and want to not drink alcohol something they can drink that doesn't look like a
Oh.
flowery beverage.
Okay.
So it's actually a noble branding thing.
I do appreciate that. I do.
But yes,
But yeah.
so it's Pop Tart flavored iced tea, and
That's
it's pretty good.
disgusting. That is.
Is
I
the
bought it because it looked
is
insane.
Pop Tart like the weird snack that you have over there? Like the
Oh yeah.
The pastry looking thing with like
Yeah.
frosting and stuff.
You
Yeah.
stick in a toaster.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
Every
Anyway,
time I
you
see
gotta
a
eat 'em
photo
raw.
of this, I get diabetes. I have to go get a treatment and come back.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
As somebody with literal diabetes, yes.
There you
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because of that, Matt, I'm gonna make you read these questions.
Okay.
You
I'm
you
happy
have
to.
to read the questions. So we got some questions sent in to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a feedback
Let's answer
form.
some questions.
Yeah, we
So-
have a feedback form. Feel free to send us stuff.
Oh, by the way, before we start doing the questions, so I'm in a new place, right? I just set up my new desk, and I got this at IKEA behind me. For video viewers, this is like a window shade, something.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the most satisfying thing because it's got magnets.
Oh.
So you just snap it into place like this. It
Nice.
feels like
Nice.
the kind of window shade that Apple would make because there's magnets. No.
For audio
Okay.
listeners, it's a curtain, but I like when you keep it down because it really diffuses
What's
that
the
light.
difference with a curtain?
It's a curtain. It's basically a curtain.
Is
I
it?
was just explaining for audio listeners. But when you keep it down at night, it diffuses that light and it makes it look really good. Yeah.
That's true, yeah. There you go. I'm done.
Nice.
Okay.
IKEA is
All
awesome.
right.
Okay, so we have some questions. Let's just go through them. This first one's a big one, and this one could honestly be a whole episode if we really wanted it to be. This comes from listener, I still don't know how to pronounce their name. Efair is what I'm going to say. But they
Efair.
provide questions all the time, and their question is, how did all of this get started? How did you meet? How did you find the concept, title, and content of Comfort Zone? And what was your first meeting?
So in the beginning, there was a big bang. Oh, wait, did we not need to go that far back?
I was born in
Maybe-
1996
Oh, Jesus.
on the French island of Martinique.
Okay, a little further. A little further.
Okay, we'll skip ahead a little bit. How did all this start? So Matt and I have joked online for years about our rivalry, and we've joked about starting a podcast. We've joked about our rivalry. We've joked about creating beef and having a YouTube boxing match, but it would be I think at one point we said it would be Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Oh, probably. I don't wanna
Probably
get hurt.
something. I don't actually want to box Matt. Like I don't think I'd be pretty good at that, but I'd be down for some Rock'em Sock'em Robots. That would be fun. I started following Matt when he was blogging. I think he started following me when I was doing YouTube stuff. I found Niléane when she started writing at Mac Stories. We've kind of answered this question before, but I kind of came up with the idea of Comfort Zone and like the challenge aspect and like bringing something new because I felt stuck in a rut talking about the same things on my YouTube channel because algorithm, and I wanted a place to where I could talk about different things, and that's kind of how I came to approach it. I don't know if you guys want to add anything more to that, but.
Yeah, I feel like I've answered this before. But yeah, I don't know. You guys found me on the internet and sent me a DM, and I said yes. And it was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our first meeting was I think we just had like a FaceTime call, just kind of talking about the concept of the show and just like kind of spitballing ideas, and then Niléane, you suggested we approach Federico and John about bringing it to Mac Stories, which was a great idea. And yeah, we just I think even Matt, you came up with the title of Comfort Zone. I think you came up with it, right?
I think so.
But yeah, it was something that we just kind of massaged and worked on, and we just I think all of us wanted like a creative outlet where we could just kind of like talk about fun things and things we were doing, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We pretty much had it nailed from the start. Like it didn't take very long to figure out the structure. Bring a thing, challenge a thing, boom.
Yeah, we did. We have one unreleased episode that we did as a test episode, and it's unreleased because it's not great. Like we were really just figuring out the structure and everything, and it worked out pretty well. So yeah, that's kind of how we met. That's kind of how the show came about. I think like we just kind of figured it all out from the get-go. We, like I said, we did a test episode, but the test episode wasn't good. Like it was just like us figuring out like how the show goes and fits. And I think the big thing that over time that we've kind of realized is originally all three of us were bringing something to the show each week, and we had a challenge, and that was too much, and we dropped it to two people in a challenge, and I think that's a much better fit.
It is.
Yeah.
All three of us have a few other things going on, so
Yes.
it was tough to have so much to do every week.
It was. It absolutely was. If you all want to, sign up for Cozy Zone, we could make this a full-time thing and bring that back and do longer episodes. Matt could quit his job. I'm sure that would supplement his income.
It would make my life a lot easier. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
Yes.
So I decided we should go into controversy next.
Okay.
This comes from Tim Chatton. What is the correct movie order to introduce a kid to the first 6 Star Wars movies?
Okay, here we go.
I have an
I
opinion,
hope.
but it's boring. So I'm
Oh,
curious, Chris. I'm sure you two probably have stronger opinions than me.
release order: Star Wars, Empire, Jedi, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith.
Okay, my opinion on this is there are two correct orders. One is
This
what
is already a wrong opinion.
what Chris just said, just the release order, and the episode number order, just from 1
No,
to 6, 1 to 9. I'm
no,
sorry.
no. Then you know that Darth Vader is Luke's father. No,
Who
absolutely
cares?
not.
The 4-year-olds
Also,
listening to this episode are ruined now.
also,
Well,
like
that
it's not that it's. I saw a great YouTube video on this recently. Like the original trilogy did not handle like twists in the same way that modern movies do. Like, yes, it's a surprise when you discover that Vader is actually Luke's father and Anakin, blah blah blah. But
Leia is Luke's brother,
We have to
Yeah.
sister.
bleep so much of this episode. You
but
guys are
Eh.
at least in terms of Vader is Luke's father, you can see it coming. Like in Empire Strikes Back, in A New Hope, he wasn't that wasn't figured out. But in the Empire Strikes Back, you can see it coming. Like you can see something is coming about their relationship, about them
Yeah.
two. Like something is going on between the two. So yeah, you can see it coming. So I think it's fine. It's not depriving much. Like the most of the experience of the original trilogy is not solely relying on this. Like there's so much.
But my other issue is going in release order. It explains like what the Force is a lot better that way. Whereas like if you start with the episode numbers, you're kind of just thrown into, and you're like, whoa, who are these guys wielding laser swords and pushing things around?
And that's okay.
Yeah. My opinion was
No,
1,
you're
2,
wrong.
3, 4, 5, 6.
What?
Yeah.
You guys
I-
are forgetting 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, well, obviously we're.
Well,
forgetting
yeah. The
7,
question
8,
isn't
9.
including 7, 8, 9. But
Yeah.
I think, especially for young kids, my assumption, my understanding is that the old movies are boring and the new
Yes.
movies are more exciting for a kid.
The kids are wrong. I was obsessed with the old. When I first started seeing Star Wars, there was no 1, 2, 3, and I was hooked.
And that's
Here's what
okay.
I'll say.
Kids are wrong.
My wife let me show her one Star Wars movie because she really hasn't seen them, and I started with A New Hope because obviously that's where you would start, and that was a
Yes.
mistake. I should have shown her Empire.
No. No, what? Empire first?
100%.
Are you insane?
Listen, if you need to get them in, you need to show them the best.
Empire first?
Yes.
Are you high?
No. I'm drunk on Liquid Death Pop Tart iced tea.
Yeah, it's weird.
I have
It's
never
weird.
heard of
Yeah.
somebody doing Empire
Listen,
first.
she
That
was
is
not gonna like 'em.
wild.
My only chance was to show her the best one.
Yeah.
Long story
I
short,
don't
we haven't watched
know.
anything after A New Hope because it was deemed boring.
I forced Danielle to watch him. Like I was like, I will break up with you if you
I mean,
don't
we
watch
value
these.
consent. First and
Not when it
foremost.
comes to Star Wars. It needs to be forced upon them. They need to
Alright.
watch it.
Okay, we should move on. This is our another Star Wars talk. Cozy Zone, we have a whole episode where we talk all about this.
That's true. We tier listed all the Star Wars.
We did. It was non-controversial.
No.
Tim has a
Terrible
second
audio.
question that's more challenge related for the show. Have we ever considered doing a Newton challenge? And obviously the answer is no. But
No,
do any of us
no.
even have an opportunity? Have any of us used a Newton? Do you even know if you had to get a Newton tomorrow, how you would do it? Is this?
I've never even seen one.
I've never really seen one either.
I got to probably play with one for like 10 minutes in the 90s or early 2000s or whatever that was, but like I have zero. See, I'm not a nostalgia tech person. I'm not interested in playing around with like the original Mac or an Apple 1 or Apple 2. Like I don't really care. But yeah, I wouldn't even know how to get my hands on one other than eBay, and who knows if that's going to work or even show up.
But Tim is writing in the question. Let's have the Comfort Zone crew get some eMate 300S's. I don't know, or message pads, and have a challenge to get some work done with the Newton in 2026. Are you suggesting, Tim, that you have some to provide us? Because
Yeah,
feel free.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you're gonna suggest the challenge, you gotta
Yeah,
provide
send
them.
them.
Yeah, send them
I
over.
will do the challenge. Yeah.
I don't even know how I would be able to do my work on that. Like,
Edit a video on the Newton, Chris. Yes.
oh god.
Can't get real work done on the Newton.
Yep. I'm
This
making
is
that
the real
stance.
iPad OS. Yes.
Oh
Okay,
god.
so unlikely. Although I would be curious to try one out. The trouble you get in with these like old tech products is that the TLS protocols have
Mhm.
advanced to the point where like these old devices don't support the modern versions, and like literally no websites load. Um,
Do they have internet? They don't.
I
Do
think
they?
they must have. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't. I
We're
don't
not
think they would
prepared for
have
this
Wi-Fi
challenge.
card. What? Would they have Wi-Fi cards?
They might have. Oh no.
No, that's before Wi-Fi.
You mean to get Stephen
Considering
Hack-
that it was contemporary with the Second World War,
Oh,
and the
stop.
Nazis did not have
Stop it.
internet.
Jesus. Oh my god.
I don't
Huh.
think the Newton had internet.
Okay.
It probably was able to send email over the cellular network, and that
No.
cellular network stuff, like you can't actually connect like an original iPhone to a cellular network anymore because Edge isn't supported anymore.
Edge is dead. Yeah.
Edge is dead.
It's
Okay.
alive here. Still alive. I
Well,
think so.
that's that communist government.
It's going away though.
Yeah, okay.
You're getting freedom, is what you're getting.
Yeah.
Okay. Daryl Baxter has a litany of questions,
Okay.
so we can probably rapid fire through them. The
Okay.
first one is just a troll to me. Why is Twin Snakes terrible? Daryl, you know it's not. It's a great game. Wonderful
I
way
don't
to
even
play.
know what you're
Metal Gear
talking
Solid.
No idea what that
whatever.
is.
No
Yeah,
idea.
that one's directed at me. Why hasn't Chris gotten into Metal Gear yet?
Because I tried playing it and I had no idea what the hell was happening. I
Mm.
literally I played one. I think it was the last one I started playing it, and it was like 40 minutes of like cutscenes before you actually got to do anything. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? I have no idea who any of these people are. I'm like, yes, this isn't the first one, but you should probably establish some stuff for new players.
No.
And yeah, no, it was terrible. And even the
Okay.
gameplay didn't feel that great.
Oh boy. Okay, this is the worst opinion yet. Moving on though, before I get angry.
Excuse me. Let's watch Star Wars Episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, because they don't introduce the characters at the start of episode 1, and they don't. You're just jumping right in.
Yeah.
Same thing.
No, you need to start at 4. Well, not even 4. Technically, Star Wars, Empire, Jedi, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. I have spoken, people.
All right, next question.
What is everyone's favorite Tomb Raider game? I've never really played it. Oh, I've played one Tomb Raider game actually. I played the
I've never played a
2013 one.
single one. Yeah.
I played the original Tomb Raider 2. It's fine. On PC back in the day. But I actually really liked the remakes. The remakes that were out a few years ago, or probably a decade ago now. Those were pretty fun. I enjoyed those.
Okay, nice. Not super important, kind of important. Daryl actually is a writer who wrote one of the official histories of Tomb Raider and talked with a bunch of the devs. So that's why he's interested in that. What is one Apple product you'd each like to return? I mean,
oh, easy. Vision Pro.
yes, the Vision Pro.
Yeah, Vision Pro. Easily Vision Pro.
If they would give me my money back, I would give it back to them.
Do you guys realize I actually have 2 Vision Pros in my house right now because I still have my M5 review unit?
Oh,
Wait,
goodness.
is the question which product would you like to
Oh,
return?
see return. Sorry. Which
Yeah,
Apple
what-
product would you like to see return? Apologies.
Yeah,
Oh,
not that you would like to return.
I mean, I had to talk about it again, I guess.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not.
We already
nostalgia
answered
person.
this. I think I said the airport stuff, like the routers.
Yeah. Yeah, if it was like a modern spin on a device, Airport would be cool. An iPod with Bluetooth
the
and Apple
iPod,
Music
yes.
support. Yeah, an iPod with Bluetooth and Apple Music support, but give me that click wheel, baby.
Yeah. with a fancy deck inside. Oh yes, give me.
Yeah, iPod. Gotta be iPod. Who's tried Earn Brew?
I don't
Don't know
even know
what
what
that
that
is.
is.
I don't know what this is either. I saw this and I
Who are
assumed
those
someone else would
people?
know.
Hmm.
Oh, it's a
Earn
drink.
Brew.
It's a drink. Okay.
Scottish carbonated soft drink.
It's like a Fanta,
Oh, okay.
I
Didn't
think.
even know what this was, so I have not tried it.
Have not tried it. Sorry, Daryl. And finally, who's your favorite Spice Girl?
I don't know them. Like I
I
know
don't
who they
I don't
are, but I don't.
I couldn't name a Spice Girl song.
Yeah,
I know.
me neither.
Look. The only thing I know about Spice
You
Girls
can't name
is one of
Wannabe?
them was,
Come on.
huh?
Wannabe?
I don't know what that is.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
I know that
You
song.
know
Yeah.
it. You know
Yeah.
it.
I legit do not. The only thing I know about the Spice Girls is one of them is married to Christian Horner, the former team principal of Red Bull.
Ginger Spice.
That's
Mm.
that. Okay, thank you. I didn't even know which Spice it was. Danielle had to tell me which Spice Girl she was, but I had forgot.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Daryl.
Sorry,
We didn't know
Daryl.
the answers
Yeah.
to any of your questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
We are not cultured.
Uh, eh,
It's tough for Americans.
it is. It
All right.
is.
Listener
Won't somebody
Henry.
think of the Americans?
Henry wrote, I recently upgraded from the original base M1 MacBook Pro to the M5 MacBook Air. This also included adding a slightly higher spec 48 gigabyte M5 Pro Mac Mini to avoid needing to dock a laptop. That is not that is highly spec. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
48 gigs,
Yeah.
M5 Pro and Mac Mini. That's a good Mac Mini.
Yeah.
So Henry says, I am now in love with the Air and its portability, and I'm curious on your views of it as well. During the most recent discussion, Matt and Chris talked about the MacBook Neo, but we were mostly comparing it to the Pro, and he was wondering, how do you feel it compares to the Air, and talks about kind of you could probably do all the things you want to do on an Air. And I will say, I got as close to as I've ever gotten into a beef with Jason Snell, who's a lovely human being. When I suggested that maybe people looking at the MacBook Neo should buy an older MacBook Air. So I'm a little hesitant to suggest it. But yeah, I think the MacBook Air is great. I think it's really nice.
Watch out, Matt. Jason Snell's behind you. He's coming in for the body slam. No. I think the MacBook Air is great. The obvious thing about the MacBook Neo is the price. That's why I ordered one. I think for me, the MacBook Air, I wouldn't mainline a MacBook Air because it doesn't have a fan. And I do enough heavy duty stuff that thermal throttling is a real thing. Like, I can spin up the fans on this MacBook Pro, no problem. No problem. I can get these fans spinning up. So not having some sort of active cooling is enough for me to go, probably not for me. I am, trying to figure out what is next now that I am kind of using. I've kind of settled on how my computing life works is, when I'm at my desk, I use the Mac. When I'm sitting on the couch, I use an iPad. Or if I'm sitting at my filming desk, I use an iPad or something like that. If I'm traveling, I use an iPad. So I'm considering personally the next go around. Whenever I do update, maybe just getting really highly spec'd Mac Mini or even a Mac Studio, because price difference, when you spec up a Mac Mini and you spec up a Mac Studio, the price difference between the two isn't that much, but they keep killing certain SKUs of the two products because of RAM stuff. So I'm just kind of waiting for the M5 updates for those. But the other thing is that touchscreen MacBook Pro that might throw a wrench in all my plans as well. So I'm kind of I'm in a wait and see mode on what's going to be next. I think I'm just going to kind of wait out this year, and it sounds like even maybe the beginning of next year before the touchscreen MacBook Pros come out to kind of see what I want. But I've been playing around with the ChatGPT Codex computer use thing, which is what the old workflow people workflow to shortcuts to Sky, and then Sky got bought by ChatGPT. That's what they're working on now, is the computer use thing, and it's pretty cool. And they just put out an update the other day that you can, from your phone, use Codex to control things on your computer using computer use, and that would really benefit from having an always-on desktop Mac. And I've kind of been really enjoying playing with that. So I don't know. I don't know where things are going, but for me, I think the MacBook Air just it's not. I need that fan. I know I need active cooling. I can't get away with not having a fan. The Neo has proved that to me.
Okay. Listener Rowan asks, how many apps will the Comfort Zone hosts have collectively published by the time you reach episode 200?
6-7, baby, 6-7.
Who says we don't have the
420.
youth?
Yeah, we don't have the.
I can answer that. I'm not planning to do any more apps. Like,
Yeah, Matt said that before. Remember, Matt said he was done making apps, and then
he never said
how
that.
many micro apps are you at now? He's literally said that on the podcast.
Really?
He's literally said, I am done making apps. And he's made at least 3, 4, 5 more apps since he said that.
Okay.
Niléane, do you actually think you won't make another one? You're not going to get
No.
the itch?
No. It's just because, like, I had this one idea, and I executed on it, and it's great, and I will keep iterating on it, and like I don't have such another idea that I don't know. There's nothing in mind. And also I'm still learning, so I don't feel comfortable just making something else right now. So it would just probably suck, whatever else I do.
Well, I can tell you I have no plans to make anything, but mostly because I have Matt Birchler's phone number and I can just text him whenever I want something. So, which I have texted him multiple times over this last week when I wanted some features and quick reads. And he's been very fast about adding them. I appreciate it, Matt. Thank you.
In the beta right now. I'm at 16 apps total.
Jesus!
Wow.
9
Oh,
are in
and
the App Store.
And if you add up the digits, like it's 1 + 6 = 7, so 6, 7. We're
6,
back
7,
to it.
baby!
Yes, we're back to it.
7!
Yeah, by my count, it's 9 on the App Store, a couple web apps, and a couple like little things I did. I released open source just for my micro app series. So yeah, I hope it's in the 20s.
Mhm.
Look, there's a non-zero chance I make something, but I don't. I've made internal tools for myself, but I will never release those because they are very much just for me, and they are rough, and I have no interest in polishing them.
Okay. We have one. This one's for Chris, because Niléane and I are not special enough.
Yeah.
Listener Ben asks,
You guys are special. In my heart, you're special.
I'm really curious about Apple review units. And I guess this is where, Chris, you'll read your NDA and remind yourself how much you're able to say. But how does the process typically work? How long do you keep the device before you have to return it? What happens if you break it? And yeah.
So, as Matt alluded to, there's not an NDA when it comes to review. Well, there is. There's mostly embargoes, but I'm not under any embargoes right now, so I'm guessing I can talk about this stuff. Shocker, there's no Apple products coming out in the next week, as far as I know. Yeah, right
That's
before
technically information.
WWDC. Yeah. Okay, so how this kind of all started, I guess I should give some context. So one day I just got an email from Apple and was like, hey, we want to have a call with you. And I actually thought it was like a scam. I almost didn't reply to it because I was like, well, why would they want to talk to me? And I've actually since found out the whole story, and it's actually kind of cool. Thank you, Federico. So typically the way it works is you will always have a briefing with Apple, whether it's virtual or in person. You will always have a briefing on a product, whether iPad, Mac, Vision Pro, whatever. You will always have some kind of briefing, and they'll go over what's new. They'll give you a chance to ask some questions and stuff like that. Apparently, I have a reputation for asking too many questions. In fact, I've been so interesting. So you'll go for the briefing, then they'll send you some, like, if there's an embargo, so if you're getting the device before it's publicly available, there's an embargo. If you're getting it after it's publicly available, then you can just start talking about it right away. And then for how long you get to keep it, it kind of depends on who you are, actually. I found out, like, some people get to keep things longer than others. I usually get to keep stuff for pretty long, like I alluded to. I still have my M5 Vision Pro review unit here.
Well, that's because you are using it and you're making content about it, and it's very useful for Apple to have you have this product.
Yeah, it's definitely not because I just haven't been lazy to put it back in the box and take it to FedEx. But so it kind of depends on who you are. I usually get to keep my stuff for a pretty long time, which I really appreciate because covering Apple products is expensive. And it costs a lot of money to be able to do it. So being able to keep review units for a while is nice. What happens if you break it or damage it? I've never actually done that. I can say I've never broke a review unit or damaged it. I'm assuming you would have to send a I'm sorry email to Apple PR and just be like, please don't hate me. Please don't. Please. I'm so sorry. But I imagine they're probably pretty cool with it. I imagine it happens. It's never happened to me, thankfully, but I imagine it happens and they understand. And, if you're probably like Marquez or somebody like that and like it's an iPhone, they will probably rush to get you a new one out. At the end of the review unit, can you buy the review unit instead of having to send it back? Not that I'm aware of. And he also asked, do you get a discount? I don't think so. I've literally never asked. I doubt it. If I am going to send something back and buy it for myself or buy a product for myself, usually I will change the specs of what I'm getting because, like, most of the time Apple will send you, like, really high-end versions, like the ones with, like, the iPhones with more storage or something like that. And that's usually not what I'll end up getting unless it's the iPad. Then I always get the one with the most storage. But you don't really get a discount. I probably wouldn't even go that route, even if I could buy it and just keep it, because I would want a fresh battery, all the fresh stuff, and fresh warranty and things like that. So I don't think I would go down that route. You do have to send everything back. And one thing I will say, Apple does things differently than basically every other tech company when doing review units. They don't just give it to you. A lot of companies will just give you something, and like, if it's not technically, you'll see like YouTubers and people use the word gifted. If it's gifted, then you don't have to pay sales tax on the thing because it's a gift, and it's implied that, hey, we're just giving you this thing. We don't care what you do with it. You don't have to cover it. If we're sending you this thing and and we're telling you have to cover it, and you get to keep it, you now have to pay the sales tax on it. So what Apple does is Apple loans you things. It is a loan. I've never been given anything from Apple to keep. I have to send everything back, which I appreciate because I don't want to pay sales tax. I don't want to deal with all that. So anything I've ever been sent by Apple, I have to send back at some point. Which I do appreciate, and and ethically it makes things a lot simpler because I'm not being given a device, so I'm not being like kind of influenced to be a little bit nicer because, hey, I got this thing for free. It didn't cost me any money. No, if I'm being sent an iPhone, I'm gonna have to send it back, so I have to go still buy my own iPhone. Like, I don't get to just keep it forever. So I do appreciate the way Apple does that because it does ethically. It makes things a little easier, and tax-wise, it makes things a little easier.
Very interesting.
Nice. Okay, and this last one is more of a statement than a question. Aziz doesn't ask, he says, shouting out another Logi Options alternative, Better Mouse. And this is where I turn to Niléane. Are you familiar with Better Mouse? There's a whole bunch of Better blank apps.
I am familiar because I talked about it on the show.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, I
Better
remember
Mouse,
this.
there's Better Touch Tool, there's Better Display. I can't keep them all straight.
Yeah, Better Mouse is one. The first one I recommended actually when Logi Options Plus got
Okay. Okay.
way too much on my nerves, and I switched to that. Now I've switched to Better Touch Tool
Is
to
it
handle
developed by
my.
the same person?
Who? No, no, no,
No. Okay. All right.
no.
Just similar branding.
Uh,
Okay.
i- there's a realm where of possibilities where Tiny Start would have been named Better something, like Better
Better
Launch. I
spotlight.
don't know.
Better
Better
Raycast,
Spotlight. I
better
would have been
Alfred. There
sued,
were
but
options. Yeah.
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 But Better Launch, I think, would have been something. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I am now seeing it. This was in episode 83. 18
There you
weeks ago,
go.
you talked about Better Mouse in Are You
Did,
Predicting Doom?
oh, I remember that. Did you all see Raycast is feeling threatened by Niléane and is releasing Raycast 2.0? They're like they're feeling the heat of Tiny Start, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, this tiny startup is coming for us." And yeah,
Tiny
I haven't
start a
actually
fire
played with
under
it.
there. But yeah,
Yeah.
we've mentioned it again. That means a link to Tiny Start in the description. It's very good.
There you
There
go.
you go.
I'm happy about this. Yes.
All right. Well, that's the end of the questions that we have today. So I just want to say the episode's not done, but thank you for listening to us for 100 episodes. We had a few people who wrote in questions who said I've been listening since episode 1, and that's very, very nice. So thank you.
I got
Mhm.
mentioned like a few days ago on Mastodon by someone who started listening Comfort Zone to Comfort Zone, and they're starting from episode 1. Like
Ooh.
they just
That's-
started,
You need
and
the
they
contact.
yeah,
how you
I guess so. I don't understand how people do this, but
Look,
okay.
those. I was just figuring out how to do like audio balancing and stuff because I'm not used to having multiple audio tracks and stuff and videos and audio files and stuff like that. So those first few episodes, the edits are rough on those. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but also like if you just started listening, you should not feel you should not feel the need to do this. We are a kind of podcast where you can jump in. You don't have there's no like maybe there's some running gags, but yeah, they
You know,
will.
Matt being in cults, you and
Yeah,
your headphone
but
collections.
you will catch up on that pretty quickly. You don't have to
Yeah,
go all the way
You
back.
figure out I'm susceptible to cults pretty quick.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about them pretty regularly.
Mhm. Yeah. Hey, Matt, I have an idea for you, but you got to give me $10,000 first.
Absolutely. No questions asked.
Cool.
Why would it be so expensive if it wasn't great?
Exactly. Exactly. All right.
Okay,
Well, that's the end of the questions. Thank you, Matt, for reading those, and thank you to our listeners for sending them in. We appreciate it. We have a feedback form. If you ever want to send in questions or follow up or something, feel free to write in. Niléane, I have a
Yes.
question for you. How was your move?
It went okay. It went okay, and it's still happening. Like, no, we're not actually moving now. We're like settling in, setting things up, um, dismantling and remantling furniture. um, yeah, and I just wanted to mention, like, in the tech side of things, how it went. First off, the fiber was hooked up pretty quickly, very
Ooh,
quickly actually.
nice.
But it's
So
also
just rubbing that in on us, Matt.
yeah. Oh
We-
yeah. Oh yeah. I will. And it's also because I looked into it beforehand and made sure like you had to actually go up on the ISP's website and tell them, hey, I'm moving. So I planned ahead. So I did that well. I am proud of myself. So fiber is hooked up. It's really fast. It's just as fast as my old place. No difference. So that's good. In terms of HomeKit, I've been suffering through some pains for this migration. Uh, so what do you guys do? Like you've moved recently, right? What do you guys do when you move? Do you keep the same home in HomeKit, or do you create a new one and migrate everything?
Yeah. Yeah, I moved. It's been 4 years now. My strategy was to bring the same routers and and also just as a second thing, when I buy a new router, it always gets the exact same name and exact same password so that there's no
Yeah.
issues. But mine's just called home. And so it's wherever I live. And I'm not super fancy. I don't have multiple homes. So I can assume that if I'm in one home, that is the one home that I live in right now. So
Yeah.
I just keep it up like that.
Yeah, I do the same thing. When I moved, I did get new routers when I moved. I talked about them on the show, uh, but I kept the wireless network name the same and the password the same as my old stuff, so that way everything just auto reconnected and I didn't have any issues.
It's weird that works, but Niléane, I imagine you wouldn't be asking this question if it all went well. So
So on that side of things, we kept the same router and everything. So all of that went fine. It's on the Apple side that things are weird. So you know how like I have a bunch of we have a bunch of HomeKit automations that take into account location, your current location, your home location.
Oh.
And if
okay,
you keep the same home in HomeKit, that address you can't update it. It will
Yeah.
actually update itself apparently over time if you've got your home address updated in your contact card and stuff like that in your iCloud account and stuff like that. But you can't do it manually. Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened to me. I had like a 2 week pain period where it was freaking out that I wasn't home because I was at this new place and not my old place, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so none of that is working right now. It just thinks we're away from home all the time. Um so that's that yeah, that was painful. Um but yeah, one last thing is you remember in my old place I ran a I don't know how long, 10 meter, 15-meter Ethernet cable to the router from my desk to have a good connection because I had several thick walls in the way. Turns out in this place, this room where my desk is right next to the room where the fiber endpoint is and where the router is. So there's basically just one thin wall between me and the router, and Wi-Fi is really good. This is the first time in my life that I've had such high speeds on Wi-Fi. Um, Even though my M5 MacBook Pro is like Wi-Fi 6E, I believe, because it's only the M5 Pro models that have Wi-Fi 7, so that would have been
Oh,
even better. Yeah, yeah, I did not know that.
yeah.
But yeah, so my router is Wi-Fi 7, but the MacBook Pro itself is Wi-Fi 6E. Anyway, that is all well. I will. So, if you can see my new background here, the window is blinding us right now because the camera angle is not great, and also I have nothing to light myself from. And this blank wall, I'm planning on adding shelves like you did, guys. Yes, and
Yeah.
I will be having fun putting together my Lego sets that I had to take apart, like the Space Shuttle, the Saturn V, and they will probably go up there. Also because I'm not allowed to put them in the living room where there's already too much stuff. So I will put them there.
Mm.
Put them here instead.
So, so really quick tangent. We
Yeah.
have Legos in our living room, and Danielle and I have both put some of our sets out there. But every once in a while, I notice one of my set disappears, and one of Danielle's sets reappears in that spot. And it's weird because
Mm.
she's clearly not doing it. She says she's not doing it, so I guess we have gremlins or something in the house that's
It,
making
it
my sets disappear and her sets show
it's
up.
the puppy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that rascally Riley.
Yeah. So there you go. I will keep you updated how the move goes, but the new place is awesome. I'm happy.
Yeah. Well,
yay!
congratulations. I know how much fun moving is.
Yeah.
But
Now we're in the fun part where we're
yeah.
making things cozy. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh. Cozy zone.
Oh, I forgot what to mention last thing. Remember a few months ago I got a new standing desk.
Mm-hmm.
I have replaced the top part of that desk with a new
Ooh.
desktop that I got from FlexiSpot. So I kept the old frame that I bought from a French store. I don't even know which brand it is, but it works just fine. I just replaced the top. And this one is 20 centimeter deeper because I have much more room here, like more room to play with, so I can have a deeper desk.
Oh.
And it's amazing the difference that it makes. The like 20 centimeter additional centimeters is awesome. I can't reach, like my arm is too. I can't reach. I can't reach the screen, which is
Nice.
something that I've not been able to do before with my desk. I was
Oh.
able to reach my screen very easily. Yeah,
I
Chris.
technically can't reach my screen either, but
Yeah, because it's
that's
behind
because
you.
it's at a different
Yeah,
desk.
yes.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited about the challenge.
Okay. All right. So the challenge was mine this week, and I'm finally doing it. I'm finally moving away from Safari and watch the Safari get side tabs at WWDC this year. But I'm finally moving away from Safari. I played with a bunch of browsers. Yes, I did play with Vivaldi, but I aged like 25 years just going through the settings page.
Oh my god.
I couldn't handle all of that. It was just so long. It was longer than the whole Lord of
If
the
you want, I can
Rings.
send you my config file, and you have just my config, and my config is perfect.
But I ended up settling on Dia, and I'm
Okay.
really liking Dia. So the challenge this week was to help me switch to Dia, and I had a few things I needed from you all that I'd like to go through. The first was I need a password manager that works with Dia and Safari. This whole week I have had Dia set as my default browser. I have been using Dia on the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Neo. That is my default browser. I click a link and that's what opens. I've just been using passwords, and oh boy, is the passwords integration really bad. Like stuff doesn't even autofill.
We
It's
told
so-
you.
Well, I mean, I was using Safari. I was really good in Safari.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking.
Are you
It's a fu-
using the Chrome extension?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have the Chrome extension installed, and then if you go into the Chrome settings for Dia, all the autofill and password stuff is set to Apple's passwords. But it still sucks because it still doesn't autofill most of the time.
Yep.
And then sometimes it asks for a code, sometimes it asks for my system password. I don't know why.
We've been
It doesn't
telling
make
you.
any sense.
We've been telling you.
But it
sucks.
was fine in Safari. It
Yes.
was fine in Safari.
Apple Password
I don't know
works if you are 100% in on Apple and Safari.
Exactly.
If you take a toe steps out of line, you're screwed.
It doesn't why can't they make a decent Chrome extension? Like I don't get it. Like I know they don't want people using Chrome, but guess what, Apple? People use Chrome. Make it if you want people to use your password manager, which I'm guessing you do. Make a good Chrome extension. Anyway,
no, it's crazy.
So let's start here. What password manager should I be using? And does it have the ability for me to like simply export my passwords from passwords and import it into there so I don't have to retype everything?
Should we say it together, Matt?
We should. 3,
Yes.
2, 1. One
One
password.
password.
It's so expensive though. Okay.
It is, and I ranted about this, but
I know.
I
don't
the
want your-
reason I ranted about this is because I don't want to move to anything else. Like I
Nothing
really
is
don't
better.
want to. Yeah.
Nothing
But does
is
it
better.
work? Does it work just as good as passwords in Safari works? Like all the autofill stuff,
Better
works,
even.
credit
Well,
card.
Okay. Here's what I'll say. Literally every single person I see online who complains about 1Password sucking is 100% of the time talking about the Safari extension.
Ooh.
The Safari extension is the worst part of 1Password.
Okay. And that's the only way I think I've ever used 1Password was in Safari.
The
I think.
the Mac app is totally fine. The Chrome
Okay.
extension is rock solid. The system level, there's a keyboard shortcut that can bring up 1Password literally anywhere and autofill anything. That works great. It's specifically the Safari extension
Yeah.
blows.
Okay.
So that's
how
to
does
be aware of.
how does 1Password work on the iPhone and iPad? Because I don't want to
Flawlessly.
split these two.
I mean, pretty
Okay.
flawlessly, I would
Yeah.
say. it integrates into the system. So I just have passwords turned off, and one password is there, and so just the system sheet comes up and says, "Would you like to autofill this?" And you say yes, and Face ID, and boom.
It's
Okay.
absolutely painless. Yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I guess one password's getting some money
Give
from
it a
me.
try. It's like $5 a
Yeah.
month. I think you'll like it.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We'll
And
do
if you're
that.
comfortable, what I would recommend is go into the security settings and loosen those bad boys up so that it only prompts you for a password like once a day, and you're gonna be so happy.
I did this like a few weeks ago,
Oh.
and I'm liking this life.
Yeah.
And it makes
I
sense too because I lock my Mac anyway when I
Yeah.
walk away, and it
One pass
requires Touch ID. So
yeah. One password also has a setting they added somewhat recently where it can tie your one password lock status to your computer's lock status. So
yeah,
when you unlock a computer, one password unlocks. When you lock the computer, one password locks up again.
Okay.
yeah.
I would do that.
That's what
Just
I'm
play
doing.
around, play around. But if you're annoyed by like
Okay.
the like constant prompts to like type in your password from passwords, it'll feel like a dream.
As a former network admin who made people's passwords be a minimum of 20 characters, I don't mind making people type passwords. Okay. What do I do about the iPhone and iPad? Do I just stick with Safari? Because there's no Dia there.
Stick with Safari.
I think so. I think so. Like, why? What would you need?
I do like the ability to, especially in Safari, I do like the ability of like, hey, I'm on my iPhone, but I had this tab open on my Mac because I was doing research for something, and I just want to be able to pull that tab. I really do like that feature, and I'm guessing there's no way to really get that
Mm.
with Dia. So, okay,
Okay.
No,
all right, that's
you
a
will have to
bummer.
leave that
Okay,
behind.
okay. Yeah, I do use that a lot, but okay. All right, I'll figure something out for that. Maybe I'll start texting links to myself. I'm just kidding. I won't
Oh
do
my
that.
god.
But I'm not a madman. That sounds like something Matt would do.
To send links to your Mac, you can use the app that I mentioned a while ago, Hyperduck.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay,
That
you
could
know
work.
what?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that would work for me. I
I'm
remember
still
you
using
talking
it.
about that.
It's
Okay,
awesome.
Hyperduck. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna write that
Yep.
down really quick. Hyperduck. Okay. What extensions do I need in Dia? What extensions should I be installing?
Okay, let
I
me
have
list.
I have three right now. I have raindrop.io,
Uh-huh.
I have raindrop.io, I have quick reads, and I have iCloud or Apple's passwords app.
All right, Chris. You need one called Temper Monkey to install user scripts and start looking into user scripts. You will love the web. You will love
Okay.
tweaking the web in all the ways possible. I have user scripts in there to do such small things that I can't live without. Just like tweaking something on the website that I dislike. I can do that. Let me look at it actually. Um, yeah, I have something to add to remove YouTube Shorts. So it's a user script that somebody made and it's
I
being
kind of
updated.
need those. I kind of need those.
It's just one example. It's
Okay.
very customizable, by the way. You can do it like you can tell it to only remove them on the home page, only remove them from your subscription
Okay.
page. So it's not just remove them entirely, which you can do as well if you want to. Anyways, I have one user script in there that it's awesome. It's called Reddit No Translate, and it's something that you can't relate with because turns out, boys, I don't know if you're aware, but if you do a Google search, because Google signed a deal with Reddit, Reddit links flood Google search results nowadays, right?
Yes.
Which fine, okay. But if you are in France and you click a Reddit link, the Reddit page will be translated to French. And
Mm.
like with no indication whatsoever. The full page is in French. The full conversation is in French. There's just one tiny button at the top of the Reddit page that says translate back to English or something. Back to English. And it sucks. The translation sucks. So you're forced to see Reddit in French. It sucks in terrible French. So there's a user script here that removes the parameter from the URL that Google adds automatically, so that it turns back into English. Anyway,
Okay.
I just want to burn to the ground the US companies that want to translate everything for me. I anyway.
Hey, I
Um,
turned off that auto translate thing on YouTube for
I'm
you.
glad. Yes.
Yeah, that's bad.
One other extension that you should get is called, hear me out, Picture-in-Picture extension by Google.
Okay, but Dia has picture-in-picture already in it.
Oh, it does.
It does. Like if you are watching a YouTube
Yes.
video and you click away,
Don't
picture-in-picture
mind this
happens.
then.
Okay, like I actually really like that feature. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
why is Safari not doing
Basically,
this?
this is an extension that Google made for Chrome that I'm using in Vivaldi that does
Okay.
exactly the same thing. So you just click away
Wait,
and puts it in picture-picture automatically.
is there a setting Vivaldi is missing?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Vivaldi has a picture-picture thing where it adds the button for all video embeds, which is nice because some websites don't have the picture-in-picture button. So it does do something with picture-in-picture, but it doesn't force it.
Okay.
I think that's it. The rest of my extensions you will not like. You block Origin Light. You love ads, so you will keep your ads.
Okay, so Dia has an ad blocker built into it, but it
That's
doesn't seem to
true.
block YouTube ads, and it doesn't seem to block like indie blog, like some of the indie blogs that I read, like the ads that they have. It doesn't seem to block like the Mac Story stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this a little bit.
I think it's just because Dia has terrible block lists. It's not because they're trying to be nice.
Oh, okay.
It's
Having
possible.
tried Dia's built-in blocker, it's just that it's not a great blocker. Yeah.
Okay.
One that you might like is called Dark Reader. So do you know the
Oh yeah,
Safari
I've tried
extension?
this in Safari. Yeah.
Yeah, the Safari extension that's really popular is called Noir.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've talked about it on the channel.
Yeah, this is basically the equivalent for Chromium browsers. And yeah,
Nice.
that's it.
Nice.
Okay. All right.
I would
Cool.
add two more.
Okay.
I use one called Stylus, which lets me apply custom
yes.
CSS to pages. This is how I get Tangerine UI on Mastodon, even though Mastodon.social has not officially added support for it.
Interesting.
And the other one I would add, and I don't know, this is a YouTube one, so Chris maybe won't like this as much, but we'll see. YouTube dislike counter. Bring back the dislike counter.
Oh.
I find the number of dislikes is a relevant metric on some videos.
Honestly, yes, because the only way for me to see the dislikes on my videos is I have to go into studio.youtube.com, go to the content tab, and then I can see what they are. I want to be able to see if people aren't liking a video.
I'm curious,
Uh,
where does it fetch this data? Is it just the people using, like, I'm talking about the user script, like the
No,
extension?
it is still available in some API.
Oh.
And so I think it just runs that on the page and updates the thumb.
That's a very YouTube thing to do, where
Okay.
we didn't actually take it out of the back end. We just like hit it.
Yeah, backwards compatibility is a thing. So anyway, I like it. It's
Okay.
nice.
No, I actually would like to have that. I would like that. What settings do I need to change in Dia? Obviously, I enabled side tabs. I was shocked that that wasn't the default.
I understand why it's not the default.
Yeah, I get it too, but it should be. People
It's
need to
overwhelming.
embrace this new world that we are in and understand this is a better solution.
Yeah. Related to extensions, and this is just a Chromium browser thing first. If you right-click the extensions in the command bar or whatever, and go to Manage Extension, you will see a Keyboard Shortcuts button, and you can set a keyboard shortcut for any extension to perform their actions. And so, for example, for quick reads, I have Option R as a shortcut, so I can just save a page immediately with Option R and not have to click anything. Obviously, I could paint Starry Night with my mouse, and it would eventually save it through a mouse gesture, but I choose not to do that.
That might take you a minute. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot.
So the thing is with Dia, there's not a ton of settings in there,
It's
right?
not. It's no Vivaldi. It's
Yeah.
I'm not gonna waste 50
And
years
it's
of
no
my life
Arc
going through this.
either. Like it's much more straightforward than Arc used to be. I think you should hear me out. I think you should try tabs at the top.
No, then I'm just
I
gonna go back to Safari.
I think you hear me out. I think Dia with tabs at the top feels like what Safari should be. It feels very native macOS web browser. This is like what if Apple made Chrome. And if you loved Safari before, I don't see why you would not love Dia this way with the tabs at the top, just simple browser but clean, works really nice, and you have the power, like the added features. You still have all of them. You have the pin tabs, you have the groups, and all of
oh,
that.
you do. Okay.
Yeah,
That.
everything's there. It's just laid out differently horizontally, but
Okay.
you will not have to manage a full sidebar, which can get overwhelming. And when you have a sidebar, you tend to micromanage what goes there, what's there, and always keep in mind all of your stuff. I feel like the tabs at the top are calmer, like they feel more calm to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will, maybe I'll give it a shot. I'll enable it for a day and just, try and work with it. I do really like the tab group things. Like this
Yeah.
summer, come iOS, iPadOS, macOS updates and stuff like that. That's going to be really nice for research season. Which is pretty much my whole June is just researching and note taking. So I'm really looking forward to being able to use tab groups for that.
Sounds like you would like Vivaldi, but okay.
Yeah. It's too much. I've tried it. I tried it first and I was just like, this is too much. I feel like there's too many options.
There's
don't
literally the same tab group feature in Vivaldi. Literally
Yeah,
the same
but then
thing,
there's like a list of a billion other options
which
that
you
I
don't
need
have to deal with. You can just ignore.
I kind of think you do because I'm like,
No.
I can't not ignore options. I have to look at the options, but it's too
Sure.
much.
There's nothing more important to a browser than how it feels to use, and that is
Okay.
a personal choice. So I get it.
Yeah. So Vivaldi. Yeah.
We're going long, so I'm just going to wrap it up with one last question,
Okay.
and it's for Matt. Will this kill my battery life faster? As a
Will
Chrome
not.
browser?
I have done the research. I dare you to find me any data that's less than 10 years old that says Chrome is horrible on battery compared to Safari. It has changed completely. I've ranted about this already on the show. Use the browser.
I just wanted to poke him. I knew
know.
what he was going to say. But anyways, that was
Yeah.
my challenge. Niléane, your section says you must confess something.
Yes, I have to confess something in relation to Dia because I talked about it recently, right? And I said I was
Mhm.
using it. Yeah, I haven't installed it again. This is what I have to confess. You have guessed, I'm fully back on Vivaldi. I love Vivaldi so much. And what I have to confess additionally is this. You will not like this. But this is my browser on iOS now. Vivaldi.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
Why is your
also
browser not in
using-
your dock?
Well, I don't have to put in my dock. And see on iOS, Vivaldi has a full tab bar, right? I
Oh
do
my
love
God,
that.
that is monstrous. That is
And-
a wild way of dealing with tabs.
And you can stack them together, just like on the desktop. It's awesome. It's really awesome. Yeah, I think you should try it. I think everything you just said about Dia, I think everything applies to Vivaldi, and you should try it.
and more.
And more.
And more. Yes.
Oh, that's wild. Okay, that is wild. I'm just happy I'm able to record my podcast in the same browser that is my default browser now.
Oh, what a world.
I know, right? Wow.
I
What
would.
can happen?
By the way, you were saying what, like with Dia, there's no Dia for iOS. So you were like, what I'm doing? Am I still using Safari? There you go. Boom, your solution. Just use Vivaldi on the Mac, and you have Vivaldi on on the phone, and they sync together. Everything syncs together. It's awesome.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, this was helpful. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. Yeah.
Thank you. Niléane, it is your challenge for
Yeah.
next week. What do you have for us?
So I was inspired by my move,
Okay.
and The challenge is prank your spouse/partner with smart home stuff. So make sure they don't listen to this episode and be spoiled and expect
Not a problem.
something. All right.
that's
My
yeah.
partner doesn't listen either.
Nope.
Danielle will read the transcript sometimes just to see if I mention her.
Yeah, try to
Oh,
not spoil it.
Tell her to use the database to just search whenever she comes up.
I know. I've told her that. She was upset that she comes up less than Dr. Pepper and Mustangs.
Is that surprising? Yeah.
That's a thing for you guys to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll do
so
therapy.
prank your spouse/partner with some smart home stuff. I don't really know what I'm doing yet, but I feel
I
like
don't
this
either.
this can evoke some things in us.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
divorce or getting dumped.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, that is going to be something I have to work on. So thank you for that. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Normally, I
If you
have an end
can
of the show
film it.
question.
If you can film it.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That might be tricky. Okay.
Yeah, that might
All
be
right.
tricky.
We'll see. Yeah. Because that'll give it away. If I'm like filming her, that'll give it away.
Yeah,
for
man.
sure.
Like
She'll
with a
notice that.
smart home
No,
camera.
pretend you're filming the
somewhere.
puppy and then just kind of like pan up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Why do I have a feeling I'm getting dumped this
Just
week?
change the angle of the Eve cam in your living room somewhat.
Yeah.
We actually don't have any cameras inside the house.
Oh, okay.
I do not want cameras inside the house.
Yeah, we just have the one to look at the garden and see if any of the pets are outside.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Normally, I have an end of the show question for you all, but I feel like we answered a bunch of questions and we're going long. So I'm just going to wrap it up here. Thank
Okay.
you, Mac Stories, for having us for over 100 episodes now. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Matt and Niléane, for doing the show with me. I really appreciate it. And thank you all listeners for listening, or viewers, because we're also on YouTube. Appreciate it. Thank you all so much and have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.